It's a quest. It's a quest for fun.
Well, The Rock says, why don't we just cut right to the chase?
Okay, now he wants to get together. Well, he wants to talk.
I want you to do me a favor. I want you to tell all your friends about me.
It's showtime, folks!
What are you?
Greetings and salutations. Welcome to And I Quote, the weekly show. We introduce you to content creators of all shapes and sizes. Join us from any and all corners of the nerd universe. We have friendly conversations and we take your questions. I am your host, Ryan of Nerd Culture, and our guest this week is writer and publisher Ana Maria Selvaggio. Ria, welcome to the program. How are you?
I am awesome. How are you doing today?
Doing well, doing well. Thank you so much for being with us. Now, if you have any questions for Ria as we go throughout the course of the program, let us know in the live chat. Let us know in the comments section below. Our producers are going to be monitoring it as you go throughout the course of this very program. And make sure you're sharing this video with all 200 of your closest friends. They're going to like the way they look after watching this video. I guarantee it. So, Ria, what would you say were some of your favorite books and or writers growing up?
Oh, boy. The ones that I remember the most were books that were gifted to me by a friend of my mother's. The Brownie books, there was two of them. Folklore, lots of travel books. My mom worked for the airlines. But Kodak had a Brownie camera and came out with little Brownie characters. Mm-hmm. So I still have those books, and I started collecting inadvertently, vintage books and history and things like that. But Nick Bantock is somebody who really influenced a lot of my art career, probably mid-90s when I found him. The Griffin and Sabine series, which was really cool because he created everything all the way down to the postage stamps that were used. And it was a correspondence. So you had the front of the postcard printed on the page, you flip it over, back of the postcard so you could read it, front of the envelope, and then you flip it over as under an actual envelope that you can open and pull the letter out. So that interactive quality, I was hooked. That was big for me. Which J.J. Abrams did one a few years back called S that has stuff tucked in. I mean, there's like 30 different inclusions, letters, a map drawn on an actual napkin, postcards. So it's just totally geeky. I don't think I've got it right here, but totally geeky stuff. I mean, just really, really cool interactive stuff. So anything that will pull me in and that I could actually interact with, mm-hmm. that was my thing.
Oh, that is truly amazing. Truly amazing. When did you specifically decide to become a writer? When did it hit you?
Poetry first, probably high school. Mm-hmm. My one English teacher who I'm still very, very good friends with. I've got her on Facebook. Hopefully she's watching. But she really encouraged me to do the more creative side of writing. Mm-hmm. And so I used to do a lot of poetry. I don't, unfortunately, have copies of much of it anymore. And I think I've spent most of my life trying to write shorter because I'm okay with novel length fiction and with children's books, but trying to write a short story, because I'd love to do like microfiction or flash fiction. That's harder. It's a lot harder. So that's my goal this year, is to be able to write shorter, because I want to do an anthology at some point.
Oh, I see. That is amazing. Absolutely. What would you say are some of the biggest rewards about being a writer or publisher?
Building my own worlds from the ground up, just being able to go in depth and really get to know my characters. I have a master's in creative writing from Full Sail, specializing in screenwriting for gaming, film, animation, and television. And they made us, for my thesis script, which is now going to be my first novel, Stalemate, we had to do Myers-Briggs tests for all our characters. And just, I was doing like character interviews kind of thing. And my husband actually, when he does character building, uses like D&D worksheets and stuff as a jumping off point. But just being able to immerse myself in a world and be able to take people with me, you know?
Oh, I see. Once again, we're talking with Ana Maria Selvaggio, aka Ria. Make sure you're sharing this video with all 400 of your closest friends. They're going to like the way they look after watching this video. I guarantee it. Already, I see a few of you popping up in the chat. Donna Carlene says, hello, Ryan and Anna. How are
Hey,
you?
Donna.
Good to see you, Donna. You're a superstar in your own right. Am I right? I think so.
There's Hubby.
Yeah, Popper Knight says, good afternoon. It's good to see you both. Fantastic. And someone's giving us a smiley emoji.
Pixie! Pixie's one of my Twitch and Patreon patrons.
Oh.
And Popper Knight's actually my husband.
Oh, well, there you go. The family and the friends and the love of your life supporting you all at the same time. You gotta love these live streams. But even so, on the flip side of the coin here, what would you say are some of the biggest challenges about being a writer or publisher? What do you think?
Biggest, well, I have to say working from home, or even working when I was working a regular job when I was writing, is carving out the time and being consistent with it. So I got to the point where I really wanted to write, and it was like a craving. I just couldn't put it aside anymore. So I actually made a Twitch stream, which I did for a year, so that I could carve out 2 hours every Wednesday morning. And I wrote live. I pantsed it, which was the first time I'd ever done anything like that. But it got me in the habit of, okay, 2 hours a day. Here's my, but even 15 minutes, sitting my butt in the chair, if I can write 20 words or write down some ideas, that's my big thing. I homeschooled my daughter, and my husband and I both work from home. So there's always constant people, constant interruptions. And it's my office is in the kitchen where the coffee lives. So there's traffic coming through. And so I think that's probably the biggest challenge, is just finding that space and that time to carve out. As far as being a publisher, I have 3 other authors that are working with me, but typically I do stuff that I've worked on their book as far as editing or done the illustrations for. Just marketing and promotion, and that's always a challenge. But I'm big on trying to find new, unique, out-of-the-box ways of, creating either accessories or other products, or like my children's books, I've got plushies and surface patterns and prints and different things. So I like having that kind of a challenge. So it's not really a bad thing so much as far as the publishing. It's just, I just got to do it. I just got to be present.
Oh, there you go. Any special memories for you from being at conventions, whether you're there as an attendee or whether you're there as a vendor selling your books?
Non-book related convention, first thing that pops into my head, and I'm gonna catch flack for not remembering his name. The guy that plays Flash.
John Wesley Shipp or Grant Gustin? Because John Wesley Shipp was the original Flash on the 90s series, and Grant Gustin's the new, younger Barry Allen on the CW show.
Original, I think. Or no. Yeah, original.
Okay,
really
so the original 1990s live action series, is that what you're referring to?
I think so.
Okay, well that's John Wesley. That would be John Wesley Shipp, who also appears in the new iteration of the Flash as the Flash's dad. So,
he was in the elevator with us and had a Flash pin, and I was like, "Oh, I really like your pin. That's really cool." And then by the time we were about to get out of the elevator, I was like, "You look really familiar." He's like, "I get that a lot." And as soon as the doors closed, I'm like, "Oh my God." I know who that was. And I was like, I'm going to be that story. Because I totally blanked on who he was. Because I saw him in the thing and I'm just like, okay, I'm going to go home now. But I love meeting, because I do shows, not just the conventions. I love meeting people, being able to interact with people at conventions. And it's been really hard not being able to do conventions for the last couple of years. LexCon which we were talking about before, is coming up in March, and I'm really tempted to go. Lexington Comic and Toy Convention is amazing. Amazing people. We've set up there with the brown coats for 3 years in a row.
Oh, wow.
Prior to COVID, and just nicer people. They're just amazing. And the convention is huge. So I have my brown coats come in and kind of help relieve us from the table, which is nice. And we get to walk around, but you need like walkie talkies in there. You get lost. And now it's even bigger. I haven't been there since they expanded it, but being able to see my brown coats and being Jane hats everywhere and being able to pull in new members. We added like 78 new members at one of the cons. I think it was Scarefest though. Oh. But just, you know, being in the thick of it and actually meeting people that I talk to back and forth in the group on Facebook, because I've got almost 300 members.
Jeez.
Worldwide too. I have brown coats in Guam.
Who'd have thunk? Brown coats are everywhere. They need to misbehave.
Yeah.
So there you have it. God. Great memories, though. By the way, Carl Witzman says hello to everybody here.
Hey, Carl.
Hey, Carl. Good to see you. There's your reference from the 90s for you. The Love of Your Life says, to be fair, you and I are not specifically Flash fans. I'm more of a Bat fan.
Yeah, he's a Batman guy.
Hey, that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. I grew up on a lot of us grew up on Batman as a property, so that's okay. There's no shame in that. Also, they go on to say, so I wouldn't have even known who it was if I had seen him. Yeah. Oh, okay. So you may have been mistaken and may not have known that was actually John Wesley's ship in the elevator.
Yeah, she just.
Okay.
Yeah, she just. He was laughing at me though, because I was just like, oh my gosh,
that was
I'm gonna be that one story.
You ruined it.
I'm gonna be that one story
okay.
that they're telling. Yeah, I just ran into.
It's okay if you're starstruck and you can't remember a person's name. It happens to everybody at every convention that's ever been built. You know, to be perfect. To be fair, and yes, just to give you a bit of I wouldn't say like right on the nose kind of story, but I did have the pleasure of meeting John Wesley Shipp at a convention in the state of Pennsylvania, and he was running late to his booth because he was in the process of taking photo ops with other fans in a different line, right? So he comes over, he's running late, he was running behind schedule, unfortunately, but that happens a lot. It tends to happen. He goes to every person in line, including myself, and he shakes everybody's hand by saying, "I'm sorry I'm late, guys. I'm going to get to you. Don't worry about it. We're going to have a chance to talk." Not a big deal. He's very nice, very respectful. He shook everybody's hand while they were waiting in line. That's crazy. Not many people do that, but John Wesley Shipp, our hats are off to you, good sir. There's a reason you're called the OG Flash, and you're a nice guy for a reason. Granted, one of the first times I remember him professionally, not in a personal sense, but I remember seeing him as Bastion's father in a film called The Neverending Story 2, the next chapter that I grew up on as a kid. Yep. Yes, I'm talking about Neverending Story 2, ladies and gentlemen, the one that starred the late Jonathan Brandis. Very sad about what happened to him. Yeah. But nice movie, cool movie. I asked John, I said, John, what was it like filming that? He says to me, well, the exterior shots were filmed in one location, and the interior shots in the house where Bastion and his father were filmed in an entirely different location. I was like, whoa, mind blown, John. It was a fun fact. I did not know that. So it was nice to hear the behind-the-scenes stories that John Wesley Shipp had to share.
Oh, I love when they do that. I love all the little behind-the-scenes.
I loved hearing that. It was like, oh, so you shot in the house was one place, and you shot in Canada. What was it, like somewhere in Canada? I think for the exterior shots, wherever it was, maybe in Toronto. I think he said it was. I can't remember exactly what John said. I apologize if I'm saying this wrong, but when he mentioned that, I thought to myself, that's interesting stuff. Cool behind the scenes secrets there, buddy. So anyway,
I grew up on Falkor.
And it's a luck dragon.
Somebody did. My daughter showed me this. She's like, why? She's 21. She's seen the movie. She knows about the scene with the horse.
The swamps of sadness.
Somebody got that tattooed on their leg. Him trying to pull the horse out, and I'm like, why?
That's a little sad and gruesome, don't you think?
I know. I'm like,
does anyone else?
I have 8 tattoos. I would never even contemplate putting something negative on.
Yeah, if you're gonna do something from the positive side of the film, get like a tattoo of the Orin, the necklace that the character, what was it? Atreyu wore in the first one, and then it was Bastion in the second one. So get the Orin, or maybe get the cover of the book as a tattoo. Yeah. You know, when Falkor, the book that Bastion picks up from the book.
Wrapping around your leg.
Yeah. I mean, or maybe Falkor, because it's like a luck dragon. Yeah. Everyone thinks it's a giant dog. I'm like, no, it's not. It's a luck dragon. Get your facts straight. He even says it in the movie. Like, the character looks at Atreyu and says, No, I'm a luck dragon. It's yes. So there's the term. And by the way, that character was voiced by Alan Oppenheimer, which coincidentally enough, he voices Falkor, Gamork, the Rockbiter, and then my gosh, the guy voiced Skeletor on the original animated He-Man.
Oh my gosh, really?
That's the same guy. Alan Oppenheimer
That's
was the
so
same
funny.
actor. Isn't
That's
that
so
crazy?
funny.
Man, Alan Oppenheimer. By the way, I had the pleasure of meeting him at a convention. I had him sign a print from Neverending Story. I was like, yes.
Oh, that's nice. Awesome.
I know. I met him, and I also met Noah Hathaway, who portrayed Atreyu in the original film.
Oh, wow.
Nice guy too. He runs a tattoo parlor.
Oh, that's awesome.
Noah Hathaway does, yeah. So there you go. Fun facts. If anyone,
cool.
oh, by the way, I met them both at Lexington Comic-Con. So I have Lexington to thank for my childhood memories of meeting childhood characters that I grew up watching, whether it's the Power Ranger actors or in this case, it was the Neverending Story actors. Hello. Sorry, we can go on a tangent about Neverending Story all day. But still, I digress.
You know who
and once
else
again, we're talking about the incredible Ana Maria Selvaggio here on And I Quote. Make sure you're sharing this video with all 600 of your closest friends, and you're going to like the way you look after watching this video, I guarantee. If you have any questions for her, let us know in the comments. Let us know in the live chat. We're going to be monitoring as we go throughout the course of the program, should I say. Goodness gracious, where do we go from here? Oh, here we go. What advice would you give to aspiring writers out there, Rhea?
Even if you don't have something specific in your head, sit down and write for 15 minutes. Button chair. Just, mind map, doodle, write down an idea. If you're not sure how a story starts, start at the ending. Figure out things that you enjoy and find an angle on it. I mind map a lot sometimes where I'll be like, okay, I want to write about this specific topic. And I'll just start spitballing ideas. Brainstorming is not about finding solutions. It's about generating ideas. So the crazier, the better. And I've had some really cool story ideas come out from just getting as wild as possible and then finding connections to things. But make time every day to make writing a practice. So, and it's practice. Practice makes perfect. So, and even don't judge yourself by other writers. You can aspire and be inspired by things, but everybody's different. I always say with my artwork, I'll never be able to paint like Van Gogh, but Van Gogh can't paint like me. So that perfectly imperfect, that imperfection those are the little things that draw people to you. It's like you love people. You like people for their good qualities, but you love them for their faults, I think is what the saying is. And it's true with, unique writing, and everybody has their own unique voice. So just, calm the judgment, be gentle with yourself. 15 minutes. If you write 10 words, that's 10 more than you had. If you, no pressure. And if you want to write more, keep writing. But, it's just being consistent and find, a favorite pen, or like cheap ballpoint pens and cheap spiral notebooks. I love back to school sales because all the notebooks are 25 cents. And so I am prolific with that because it's not precious. A lot of artists will get the journals gifted to them or something, and they're like, I don't want to mess it up. It's so pretty, or the, writing journals and that kind of thing. My husband and I have stacks of them, but I have to think about, while it was created for this use and you're not honoring it by letting it sit there. So, just find your favorite things, get a cup of tea, cup of coffee, hang out with yourself for 15 minutes and just, if you can do it outside, that's even better. Unplugged is good when you're trying to write.
There you go. Yeah. I remember back in the day going back to school sales, getting all the books we needed for school and all that good stuff. I remember writing in them constantly. Granted, it was mostly for homework purposes. It wasn't really so much as, luxury or free writing purposes, but still, you got to love a sale when it happens.
Yeah.
So you gotta take the positive where you can. Let's see here. Some people are saying MKP says, I'm glad I'm old enough to remember the live action movies of the Neverending Story themselves. Popper Knight says, why don't you get a tattoo of the statues? I don't know about the statues. That has some suggestive clothing there. But we'll let that, gee whiz, we'll let that one slide. The Atok, I hope I'm saying this
Suo!
right.
Hi, Suo!
Otaku Hazard says, I go by a different name here, but it's Sue. Oh, Sue. Okay, all right.
Yeah, Suo is
Suo,
Pixie's sister and also somebody I know from my Twitch channel.
Huh.
I have a Discord community for my Twitch, and so yay,
I
friendly
see.
faces.
No. Hey, we
and they're in Canada, so they're swamped in snow right now. It was like negative 43 degrees the other day. It was insane.
Is that true? Oh my
it
gosh.
was insane.
Any thoughts about the weather in Canada? Let us know in the comments. I'd be curious to hear your thoughts about what exactly is going on.
Pixie, how cold is it?
Yeah, let us know what the temperature or the conditions are, in case you're wondering. If anyone's wondering, I'm just throwing that out there as a for instance, if you will. Don't get me wrong. But I am curious about this. How did From Here to There get going? How did this come about?
It was literally woke up in the middle of the night to use the restroom, couldn't go back to sleep, started doodling in my iPad because the lettering is handwritten and the entire book is handwritten like that. So it's a very simple, very quick read. And From the Here to There is the second one. The first one was Bored, which is it took me 45 minutes to do it. And I did it as a challenge to myself to get a book out because I had a kind of a dry spell that I hadn't done anything with publishing for myself. And so I did that one in 45 minutes and had
Bored, get going,
edited, done, ready, and uploaded within 24 hours for the first 2 books.
Wow.
And so that was just a challenge to myself, but it's that Bored is about aligning yourself to your joy. From Here to There is an exercise that I've done with my daughter on occasion of going through a guided meditation for what your ideal day is, not what you have, but how you feel, how you want to feel on that day. So like rise in the morning, go in the kitchen, make breakfast, the fridge is full, so there's a sense of abundance. You're I'm going to the studio. I maybe have a little dog, so I have a companion or a cat, and I have, bookshelves and all my books, the ones that I want to write and illustrate, are on the bookshelves. And so you go through that, and then you break down and reverse engineer the goals. So publishing, being able to have friends and family over, because the latter part of the meditation was dreaming that I had, my daughter, who was successful because I had her pictures on the wall with her books, come over for game night, and we had friends and family and that kind of thing. And so, okay, books published, and then break those down into 3 steps, break that down into 3 steps. So I go through the process of how I formulate my goals from, end goal to here's what I can do every day. Here's what I can do every week. Here's what I can do every month. And I'm EDD. I am a creative hot mess. So I have to have stuff broken down for me. So these 3 books, and done is the last one. So done is sometimes better than good sometimes. But, obviously you put your best work out if you're going to publish it, if you're going to do anything like that. But, quit futzing with it. Being a professional, we're all, I totally look on your face. We're all guilty of the whole perfectionist, tweaking the details kind of thing.
It's true.
So those 3 books were basically how I helped myself to be able to kind of move forward. And with the aligning yourself to your joy, I found out something really interesting recently. I had always asked, and I didn't necessarily think it was an original question, but I didn't know where it originated. But the question I ask a lot of people is, if there was one thing that you could do for the rest of your life without regard to time, location, or money, what would it be? Now align your joy to that, align your life, because there's people that are, I'm working over here full time because I want to get to the point where I'm working full time at home doing art.
Mm-hmm.
Your job has nothing to do with art. You're going to keep doing this, or you're going to keep doing Mary Kay, or you're going to keep doing whatever. And the minute you stop any of that, the money stops coming in. So, if you're working a job, and because I had this situation happen with somebody, she was a director for United Way. She was selling Mary Kay, and she was doing some other stuff, and she wanted to work full time from home as an artist. And we had the conversation, and 2 weeks later, she told me she put her in her notice. And I'm like, oh no, did I just, you always worry if you've ruined somebody else's life if they take your advice right off the bat. But she did, and she applied for a job as a sub as an art teacher. And she ended up teaching K-12 kids art, and then got into art therapy, and then eventually she has her own business, and she does stuff at home now. But it didn't make sense to me to go into stuff that, you're going to work jobs that you may not necessarily enjoy, but at least try to make it a learning experience if you can. My first job was in a Zondervan's in the mall, working books, because I knew I wanted to write and illustrate books, because my mom fed me books like crazy, and we had all the travel books.
Oh, I see. Bookworms.
Oh yeah. I think probably a good half to 2/3 of our moving van when we moved from Florida to Kentucky was books between the three of us.
That's a lot of books.
A wall of bookshelves, like 7-foot bookshelves full of stuff, and I'm purging. I'm still getting rid of books, and I'm writing more.
So Willikers, that is what we call a plethora.
Yes,
that's a lot.
A plethora.
Yeah,
but yeah, it's just worked in Zondervan's, got a job working for Barnes and Noble, got a job working for Books A Million, was paperback manager.
Another one.
Worked for Macmillan Publishing in Orlando doing freight. Freight receipts and shipping paperwork and everything, and started talking to people in the industry and learning that way. Did a stint at the Orlando Sentinel, had a friend in the editorial department, learned from them how to edit.
Wow.
Newspaper business, got out immediately. Art director for a magazine, and just have always tried to align to what I wanted to do, what my end goal was. It was all a learning experience. So I was self-taught for years. I went back to school my late 30s to get my bachelor's degree finally, because I wanted my master's from Full Sail.
Sure.
And I got that when I was 43.
Congratulations.
Grad certificate. So that was almost 10 years ago.
Feels like it was yesterday, doesn't it? Maybe not so much. But congratulations on all those accomplishments. That's truly amazing.
It's a lot. It's never felt like, there's been challenges, but it's never really felt like work.
Well, if you love what you do, it's not called work.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's the people I've gotten to meet along the way. And I was telling you earlier, I grew up around the Winter Park Sidewalk Art Festival back when, in the 70s, 80s, 90s, back when the artists were like, oh yeah, come here, I'll show you how I did it, kind of thing. You want a piece of paper and take notes? I've actually had somebody hand me a piece of paper and a pen if I wanted to write stuff down. They do not do that now. But, being able to, I've spent most of my life trying to pay that forward. Very much a lift as you climb.
Sure.
Kind of person. So being able to, and I've totally gotten off the question. Hopefully I answered it.
No. It's fine. It kind of goes back to what a young man we know of named BKM, who goes by the name Brian K. Morris. Take another shot, Brian. Rising tide lifts all ships. It's true. It's very, very true. I am curious though, how did Stalemate, this story here, how did this come about, and what exactly is a synopsis that you can give us for it?
Oh, you're going to put me on the spot for the log line. My elevator pitch that I should have.
It's okay.
Stalemate was actually my thesis for my master's degree. And I had so much extra material that I really wanted to make it into a novel. I still have the script, but I've got to go once I've got the book completely where I want it. It's in final revisions. I got to go back in and do that with the script too. And I have a game. I have game design documents because game design was part of the degree and part of the grad certificate that I got, instructional design and technology, and it's using modern tech and gaming for education. So I've got a lot of historical, factual stuff in there, and basically with the line there, every family has their secrets. This family houses everyone else's. Michael Hilpenny comes home, and he's been estranged from his parents for years. His father just passed. His mother had passed years before, and he grew up traveling the world with them, basically curating items for museums. And so the house, they started collecting their own, and the attic space and all throughout the house, there's all these items from all over the world. And it's a paranormal story, paranormal thriller. Okay. So there's intellectual haunt that you can interact with, and residual haunt, which is just like, a tape playing over, a memory attached to something and playing over again. Well, there's something else in the house, and it kind of goes from there. But I have a lot of my loves hinted in there. One of the things that he collected as a child were spinning tops, and one of the spinning tops is from one of the Nick Bantock books. So I have little things in there that I like. One thing about the cover, when I was designing the cover, you see the little shadow up in the top window.
Yes. Yep.
Something that showed up in the artwork that I left is on the very top left corner of where the roof is. There's that little blue and kind of beige spot. Sure. There's a face there. Oh, I was just like, okay, that's creepy. I'm leaving it. So, and I was an architectural design major, hence the little drawings and stuff mixed in there. But at one point, there's a chess game. So hence the pawn to king 4 with one of the entities in the house. And so it was fun. That was a fun one to write. And it was something that was very, like I said, we had to do Myers-Briggs tests for all the characters, which I had never done before. I actually have a couple of books. One is on birthdays and one is on names. And it goes into like the metaphysical properties and that kind of thing. But the birthdays one, especially, I use for naming and coming up with stuff for characters because it's been pretty dead on. Like you get one of those books and you look up all your friends and you look up everything. And I'm like, oh my gosh, that is so you kind of thing. So I actually play around with those when I'm coming up with characters and that kind of thing. And I've got a LARP background. So I'll sit and, talk with my daughter or talk with my husband and we'll kind of LARP it out kind of thing. Like I'm doing a character interview. So that's a lot of fun, but I can't wait for Stalemate to come out.
I'll have to add Stalemate to my 5 mile long reading list. I blame all the writers who are friends with Brian K. Morris for my problems. Once again, Brian, take another one, buddy. By the way, your friend says currently it's negative 11 degrees. It feels like negative 20, so it's warmer, and a little bit more snow is coming our way in Canada. Well, there you go. Things crazy. MKP says, "Ooh, I need that Stalemate book now." Well, there you go. She just gave you a great elevator pitch for the book itself.
I got people that I'm going to be sending out advanced reader copies to, so I'm gonna be hitting people up if they want to read a copy of it and pick it apart.
You may have to add me to that list. I do like to read. I do like to read, and I like mysteries. Granted, paranormal isn't exactly one of my favorite genres, but I'm willing to, dive into something and see what it's like. A stalemate, I mean, I remember that from playing chess when I was a kid. And then also you got all the stuff that's going on with inside the house, and there's a mystery. You're trying to figure out answers to certain questions, whatever the case may be. I'm curious about that sort of stuff. So you
got a lot of historical stuff about the artifacts and different things. And that's one of the things I want to touch on with the game too, is where you're, educational purposes, you're actually learning. And I try to keep everything family friendly. So I'm not I tinge on horror, but I'm not, but I backed it away. So that might be another book.
That's okay. No, I completely understand that. By the way, the Otaku Hazard says, I'm just making a list of books I need to get. Don't mind me. I think we just added stalemate to that.
Well, they know about the one that came out, which it's out, by the way. I have just ordered a copy, so I haven't publicized it yet. But my children's book is out.
Once again, congratulations on that. Now, who would you say are some of your favorite writers nowadays? Could be anybody, any genre.
I try to push myself out of my comfort zone when I'm reading different things. Horror was not something, sci-fi depended. Melissa Marr's Graveminder is a really, really good book. That was the first horror book, I think. Well, actually second, because I read Stephen King Thinner years ago. Thinner was probably one of my favorites. I know most people gravitate toward like Pet Sematary, but Thinner was really good. Nnedi Okorafor, African-American writer. Binti is the name of the series, Binti, science fiction. They're really thin books, so I went through them in like 2 days. There's 3 of them in this series, and it's sci-fi, and it's really, really good. She has some new stuff out that I want to check out. Nick Bantock, of course, he's still coming up with new stuff. I actually interviewed him for my magazine, and he's the most delightful human on the planet. I was very happy to find out that, one of my muses was really genuinely an awesome person. So, I've got one children's book actually on my desk that I keep here. There's 2 people. So the illustrations on this one were joy for me because they're unusual.
Oh, wow.
And the way things are set up and laid out with how the text is, it isn't all, on one side or another. Some of it's like strewn across the page. Some of it has other doodles in it. Just really cool stuff. So I have a huge children's book collection, and I keep them over here for, inspiration. And Sean Tan, who I have right here.
Oh, there you go.
I can reach it.
Oh.
So Sean Tan.
Ooh.
Yeah. No, wait.
That's an intriguing cover.
Pattern designer.
Mm-hmm. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, the illustration work in this is gorgeous, but
wow.
Yeah.
It's very unique.
Some of his other ones, and it reads almost like a graphic novel in some places, but it's, just
wow.
Crazy, beautiful stuff. One of the other books that I have of his, the end pages, I thought I had it out here. I think I've got it in the bedroom, but the end pages are all his little sketches. It's all his thumbnails, which I completely geeked out about. Anything map related, anything. This is one of the other ones too.
Aww.
Because maps. So.
My heart is a compass. Okay.
Yeah, my heart is a compass. So she's going around making all these little.
Oh, wow.
Little maps of things. There's one in particular in here that's just really cool.
Really lovely illustrations here.
I know. I love these.
Mm.
There's one she did that's space.
Bit of detail, a lot of color. Mm.
Yeah, but it's just books are my way to relax. Like she did monotone on part of it.
Oh, wow.
And then had her, but there's a space one in here if I can find it. That's just really cool. Look at that.
Oh my gosh.
Check that out.
It says sky map there. Okay.
How cool is that?
A sky map.
Yeah. So, and just stuff like that makes me excited because I'm, big on Dory's engravings from and old schematics and maps and any of that. I actually teach a map illustration class. I've taught over 768 students and drawn over more than 300 maps the last 2 years. And I'm trying to figure out what I'm going to do with all the maps now.
Yeah, that's truly amazing. I was going to say, is there anything this young lady, Ana Maria Selvaggio, hasn't done in her career? Goodness gracious. Once again, we're talking with her on And I Quote. Make sure you're sharing this video with all 900 of your closest friends. They're going to like the way they look after watching this video. I guarantee it. If you have any questions for her, let us know in the comments. Let us know in the chat, because we're going to be taking as we go through the course of the show. And I see that you're still showing us a few different books here. Anything else you'd like to share?
These are actually, that's one of my maps from my last class.
Oh my gosh.
I teach them how to draw an island. And these are not like the ones I would do for an author, because I've done maps for authors. This is more of a, basic, how to kind of thing. And then the next day I teach them how to do scale and shading and all that. So
gee willikers.
Just go into the basics. I've had some students that have come back and tutored with me to do their D&D campaigns. And so they actually go through, and I'm getting ready to launch a class called the Organized DM.
What?
So,
oh my gosh.
So, and I have a bunch of people that now, here's the thing. OutSchool is for K-12 kids. If you're an adult,
yes,
please don't make a profile on OutSchool if you don't have any kids. To ask if you can take my class, because I've had that happen where I'll post something on Facebook, hey, I've got spaces left, and people will be like, hey, can I get in your class? And I'm like, you don't have any kids and you're an adult. Hey, it's kind of creepy. Why didn't you just message me on Facebook and ask me? I actually am going to start doing an adult class
there you
on
go.
That kind of stuff. But I have an illustration club. I just got the stickers in.
Oh, did you?
I have an illustration club.
Oh, look at that.
That it's free. It's the first Thursday of every month. I'm fixing my Zoom here.
That is amazing.
And it's, a Zoom meetup. And this next one is this Thursday. See, I got my rabbit in my.
Oh, I see what you did
there. And the coffee and the crystal and the pencil and the botanical. I'm notorious for drawing flowers, botanicals. But it's a 2-hour hangout. Bring your own creative project. If you want to sit and crochet while I'm drawing, that's fine. But I'm going to go over talking about ugly sketchbooks, because there's such a thing as ugly sketchbooks, and it's basically where you're, nobody else is going to see it. You're going to practice different things. It's going to be, really horrible. You're not going to want to show anybody. And invariably, I've seen a lot of artists share their ugly sketchbooks just because they're like, I really want to show you how not to do this. And then drawing hands. So I'm going to tackle the two hard things.
Drawing hands.
And drawing hands.
Drawing hands.
In this next one.
Wow. A lot of wonderful things to look forward to. My goodness gracious. Going back to just a quick moment here for Stalemate. MKP says, my mom loves mysteries too. I can get her a copy.
Yay.
Anything's possible.
Awesome. Thank you, Pixie.
Go for it. Anything's possible. There are plenty of books out there in the world, and life is better when reading. So
oh yeah.
I have a t-shirt that says that. It's true. It's true. And by the way, Keisha Acuff is in the building. She is here. Keisha, you wonderful, crazy, weird-looking soul. We love you to pieces, Keisha. You got so many stories that are strange, weird, and unusual. But you know what? We love you all the more for it, Keisha. That's why we love you.
I am strange, weird, and unusual. So.
Well, I mean, but I don't know. I feel like it's a bit of
that way.
I mean, I don't know. There may be a difference between you and, everybody's different, let's be honest. But you and Keisha, if we put the two of you together in a room, I don't know if it's going to be magic or chaos. I don't know. So Keisha, let us know. Let us know. There you go. If you want to collaborate with Rhea here, let us know in the chat here, Keisha, because I'd love to hear your thoughts and opinions about what's been going on recently with some of the books that are. And speaking of which, Keisha, you got a new book out.
Yay!
Keisha has a new book out. It's called Him, which is available on Amazon right now. So make sure you check it out. It's really good stuff. And by the way, Keisha says, I would love to collaborate with you, Rhea. Ha ha. See, she's doing her evil laugh there in the chat. You see that? It's
Do the evil laugh.
It's very well. I don't think Keisha has an evil laugh. She just has a laugh, but it can come off as a bit scary and unusual. But then again,
I'm googling you on Amazon.
it is on Amazon. So look up the word "him" and it's written by Keisha Acuff. It's there. Trust me. And then Keisha also says, "Yes, I do have a new book out. Isn't that right?" And yes, Keisha, it is right.
Awesome.
So there you go. It's there.
Very cool.
Gee willikers, you superstar.
I have one out. I have a new one out.
You
Can I talk about it? I have a new
Sure,
one.
go right ahead, please.
Like literally brand new. I haven't even, because I wasn't really even publicizing it because of the fact that I'm ordering a physical copy of it, but it's out and it's available. I'm Renmeleon on literally every platform. So if you Google, put Renmeleon in Amazon, it'll come up. I don't have a physical copy, but I have my little mock-up that I made.
Hey, there it is.
So I did this on live stream one night where I did this little piggy.
This little piggy, that is what it's called.
With the crazy chicken.
Oh, with the crazy looking chicken.
Which has become a thing.
It's a chicken.
So this is my little handmade paper mock-up.
Oh, that's what that is. Okay.
And so...
It's very nice, by the way.
Thank you. I'm a surface pattern designer, so this is actually going to be fabric that's available.
Look at that. Look at that.
And
that is
my daughter and I have a thing for... Let me adjust the focus here. My daughter and I have a thing for dandelions, and my mom...
Oh, look at that.
So I did daisies and dandelions.
Okay.
And
okay, I can dig it.
So this little piggy went to the bookstore and was never heard from again.
So much for the little piggy going to the market.
This little piggy stayed home because it was safe and where the cozy lived. And I have little Easter eggs all throughout this.
There has to be Easter eggs throughout this book.
This little piggy made sushi because they didn't want to eat their friends.
Oh, so that's what happened. Okay. That's what happened in that scene there. Yeah.
This little piggy wanted to share because feeding people is love.
Oh.
And this isn't finished yet. This is the unfinished version.
Oh,
this is the I'm gonna auction this off years later when I'm
right. This is the one that's still in progress or something like that.
And then it says this little piggy laughed and laughed and laughed because it was a good day shared with friends. And I have everybody on a Zoom call.
Oh, a Zoom call.
Yeah. So that was my little thing, and I did the mock-up, and the actual size was supposed to be, see, I do stuff like this, the little pockets. This was 5.5 square, but the actual one is 6.5 square. So I went through Ingram Spark because there's one board book manufacturer left in the United States. Everything else has been overseas.
Oh no.
I try to go with US based stuff. I go local first. So if there's anybody in Kentucky.
Oh, of course. Yeah.
And then I go United States, and then I go out from there. Washi tape. I have to get from overseas. And they've been so super sweet. But for Ingram Spark, I couldn't do the board books. The other manufacturer wants $25 a book.
Jeez.
And I do not have room for a palette. That is one challenge actually with self-publishing. I will go back to that question.
Sure.
Is go through Ingram Spark. It's print on demand.
Oh.
Bookstores will not buy from Amazon. They will buy from Ingram Spark, which works with Bowker. And I finalized this 2-3 days ago. It was already up on Amazon. It'll be up on Barnes & Noble and Books A Million and Target and Half Price Books and everything within the week.
Wow.
But a lot of people think that when you self-publish, you have to go through a printer or go through somebody where you have to buy a ton of books. Storage. Storage.
Yeah.
You're going to have to find a space for that palette of books. If you do that,
storage area or storage unit.
Not to mention the amount of money. Yeah. And then it has to be air conditioned. So you can't,
that's true.
Yeah.
Because of the conditions.
That's one of the big challenges with self-publishing is go through Ingram. If you can't afford Ingram, you can do it on Amazon. You don't have to pay anything. You can do an ISBN through them. I ended up forming Dragonfly Press Publishing because I started doing books for myself and books for other people, and I wanted to do my daughter's and my husband's. So I started my own publishing company with no intention of taking anybody else on. And then I had 3 clients that were like, "Can you do this?" So
Please.
yeah. And that way I can represent them at cons and stuff when I go.
Isn't that amazing when you have teamwork make the dream work?
So I really want to go to Imaginarium and set up a booth. I'm going to have 3 tables if I go. Renmeleon, my main one, the Kentucky Brown Coats,
which is
last time I had 2, and then this time I'll have Dragonfly Press Publishing because I've got 3 other authors besides my own stuff.
Well, as we once said earlier on during the course of this program, that is a plethora. By the way, Carl says, warning you, Ren, Keisha Acuff is also a member of that secret humor group that we do not talk about on the interwebs, Carl. Carl, I know which one you're talking about. That's why I'm not a part of it. Yep. Keisha says, I'm going to have to look this up. And by the way, that is so cute with this little piggy that you were showing us a moment ago. That's what Keisha is referring to.
Yeah, there's a kind of a funny story behind that.
Keisha, you're such a sweet kid. You gotta love Keisha. You can't help it. You just can't help yourself with her. It's one of those things. Keisha says, me? You're talking about me? Yes, Keisha, we're referring to you. So just keep that in mind as we go through.
I'm part of that group too.
Yeah, that's why I'm not. There's a lot of crazy things that go on. And I asked Carl, I said, Carl, how crazy does it get on a scale of 1 to 10? He says to me, Ryan, it goes to about a 12. You're not going to want to be there. And I said, you know what, Carl, don't add me to your crazy secret humor group that's on double secret probation because I do not want to be there. And Carl said, I will respect your request and not have you there. And I said, thanks, Carl. Appreciate it.
I don't actually participate a whole lot. I'll do every once in a while. I'll say something, but usually I'm just kind of like, yeah, we're just gonna let that slide. Okay, we're gonna let it go. I will join in sometimes on the calling out my Carl. Yeah,
he's just calling out my Carl. Yeah, we are calling him out. It happens.
And the truth of the matter is, Donna's a saint.
Is she? Okay. I haven't spoken to her very much in the course of our interactions. I've only spoken to Carl, and sometimes Donna will chime in, but mostly
Carl's
I'm talking to Carl.
Too. I love both of them.
Well, they're great. They are like peas and carrots, but at the same time, I haven't had as much interaction with Donna as I've had with Carl, so I can't really say much about her.
Yeah, I see him in the green room.
Well, listen, they like what they like, and I'm just going to leave it at that. But in this case, Rhea, this episode of Anti-Quote and every episode of Anti-Quote, to be just a little bit more specific, is powered by PodDecks. Now, PodDecks are unique interview questions as well as episode starting prompts in the palm of your very own hand. So whether you are a new podcaster, your existing broadcaster, you've been doing it for a while, you're looking to grow your audience, or just get more engagement, you're going to want to check out poddecks.com. Make sure you use that promo code NERDCULTURE to get 10% off your order. You're not going to want to miss that opportunity. I guarantee it. So first things first here, Rhea, if you could try out a job for a day just to see if you like it, which job would you choose?
I have never been asked that question.
This is why we like to have fun on this program, and we like to keep our guests on their toes.
Sushi chef, but I would get fired because I'd be eating all of it.
Yeah, that would cause a problem in the kitchen area.
Yeah.
If I'm being honest, I'm just throwing that out there. Gee willikers.
Or wine taster.
Or a wine taster.
Or a wine taster. Okay. Yeah.
That's okay.
My husband would probably be like coffee taster.
Not that there's anything wrong with that. I probably know a few people who've done that, have been either coffee testers or wine testers for certain brands, or they put together their own brands. They go into business for themselves, or whatever the case may be. I'll leave that up to somebody else. But
I actually have wine labels for one of my books, Odonasha, one of my stories. That will come out later after Stalemate. And that one I've been working on since I was pregnant, since my daughter was born, so 20 years.
Oh my gosh.
And it's gaming and may or may not end up as a script, but Odonasha may end up being more than one book. But I actually have wine labels for the winery and have some little things where, you could subscribe and get a little crate, like a wooden crate with a cork and some other stuff inside of it. And I have a friend that's got a winery that I've talked to her a few times about maybe, bottling a few when the book launches with my labels on it and that kind of thing. So it's fun. But yeah. But the coffee thing.
Yeah.
Shameless plug.
Sure.
9 a.m. on Thursday mornings, my husband and I do a nerdcast called Coffee with Panda. So we do his nickname's Panda, long story. But we, test out a different coffee, and we talk about our favorite books and, weird stuff we found on the internet. And it was an hour, and we shortened it to half an hour. And so it's just, here's what's going on. Here's what's coming up. Last one I plugged the show here today. And
thank you.
It's been something that he and I wanted to do for a long time, and it was an excuse to buy different kinds of coffee. So
individuals in their covfefe, as Brian K. Morris puts it, or just coffee in general. I digress. Now, what was the name of that program that you and your husband do again? And when does it go live?
It's Coffee with Panda. It's live 9 a.m. Eastern Standard on Thursday mornings.
Oh.
For 9 to 9:30, and it's on YouTube.
Nice.
So if you just put in Renmeleon on YouTube,
it's there.
Like I said, I'm literally Renmeleon on every platform except for Pinterest. I think Pinterest I'm Ana Selvaggio, but that was only because I screwed up with the Renmeleon thing and I use the other account more and I can't merge them, so I'm slowly migrating. But yeah.
No, that's amazing. By the way, Carl says, Donna, a saint? Laugh out loud. She has you all fooled. Maybe she does, Carl. I'm not sure. I haven't had as much interaction with her. Popper Knight says, I wouldn't mind being a pharmacist to try a job out for a day. And they go on to say, my dad was a pharmacist for about 30 plus years. I looked into pharmacy school at one point in my life. Wow.
He's my alchemist.
I was not aware of this.
He's my alchemist because of that. He's very, precise with measurements, and he's learned to kind of, because my daughter and I are both totally kitchen witch. We're both, oh, pinch of that, I don't have any measurements. I'm just gonna, that sounds good, that smells good, here we go. It's like, oh, how do you make that? Yeah, drive him crazy all the time because I don't have exact measurements for stuff. But so he's very, precise with stuff. So Pharmacist, he'd nail in a heartbeat.
Okay.
He could do it.
Interesting. Well, how about this one? What do you consider is the most important piece of furniture in a house?
I would say kitchen table. Only, but I don't have one. My kitchen table is my desk right now.
Darn it.
Or my desk is in here. I don't have a kitchen table. That growing up, that was where we all had dinner together. That's where we played cards every night after dinner. My mom, my grandparents, and I. I'm big. I love to feed people. My daughter and I are both that way. And board game night, and just that was my vice during COVID, was Kickstarter board game campaigns. Oh my gosh, I have so many board games. I just got another one. But just a communal table, or even just
sure,
pillows on the floor in the living room, it's whatever. It's just some place where you can unplug and connect.
Agreed. Wow. That's amazing. I know that John B. Pica, the prophet of pop culture, loves board games, and they talk about that nonstop on the Back of the Cereal Box Podcast Network, which you can find on YouTube and all that wonderful things. # always support your friends. Awesome. As much as I try to do that here on this program. Goodness gracious. People are saying, Popper Knight says, I will give you a measured list of recipe for anything that I can possibly cook. MKP says, the most important piece of furniture in a house is a bed or a couch is my vote.
Lately, yeah.
Okay, well, that
twice COVID, lots of fatigue. I can vouch for that.
People can kind of relate to that. Popper Knight says, I would love to have a nice kitchen table again, just sometime where we can play something known as RPGs and such.
Yeah, so we got lots of tabletop plans.
Gee willikers,
tabletop games.
Excellent, Smithers. Sorry, that sounds like a creepy Mr. Burns vibe. But even so, many people read something known as electronic books. Do you think that takes away from the experience?
I think it has its place. I know in high school, I wish I'd had all my reference and textbooks on ebook, because it might have kept one shoulder from being lower than the other for the back backpack I had to carry all the time. I like it for reference books, but I'm big on, having a physical book. I've gone through with some things and purged to ebook or audio book if it was something that it was a reference book or something that I didn't have a whole lot of attachment to.
Right.
It's having had ebooks in some of my classes. There was towards the end of my degree programs, they had gone to ebooks for a few things. And it was a little harder for me to kind of grasp and retain stuff, not having a physical book. So I think it has its place, but same with audiobooks, but I definitely think one's not a threat to the other. And I don't think, like sometimes I'll get an audiobook. I'll like it so much, I'll buy the print or I'll get vice versa. But I don't know. It depends on the material.
Sure.
Like fiction, I worry about eye strain because I'm always writing, I'm always drawing, I'm always on the computer. So I try not to use ebooks. Now, when I publish, do I put out ebooks? Yes. This Little Piggy is available as an ebook. And there are discussion questions and a coloring page and different things in there. So the print is better for that one. But, not everybody has access to that. And I like offering a lower price point on things. But, so, I don't know. It's just, it depends on what it is. I definitely go for print.
No, I'm with you. I mean, each format has their respective audience, and each format has the respective place. I mean, I prefer physical books more than anything because I need to. Now, don't get me wrong. When you read something on a screen, it's one thing, but when you actually have the book in your hand, you don't have to worry about blue light or different things affecting thy eyes, and also reading a book and turning that page, and you get the book in the mail, and it comes in a box, and you pop it open and realize, look at this new world I'm about to enter by reading this book. You see what I'm saying?
Book smell.
So, exactly. You see where I'm going with this. So in some way, shape, or form, to me, that just makes more sense. But then again, I understand that everyone reads things in their own way, and that's okay. There's no shame in that.
And it hurts less.
It hurt.
Or actually, no, excuse me. The print books hurt less.
Yes.
Because I've been reading an ebook and I fell asleep and my iPad hit me.
Did you? Oh my goodness! There was an accident that happened.
So yeah, we're not going to do that anymore.
Jeez, I don't know if you want to.
Because I can't try and read on a screen. Because then I have to wear my glasses and it's just
fair.
So I had the iPad and it.
It's a bit of a challenge for some people, and that's okay. MKP says, I like physical copies of books. Thank you very much. Popper Knight says, I still don't know my RPG books in tome form. Oh
he's got a whole bookcase of hardcover, like D&D and
goodness gracious,
Pathfinder and Heroes. And I mean, he's got a few of them.
And MKP says, and my cat likes the book smell too. Wow, the cats like these sort of things. Okay. Yeah. I was not aware of this. Popper Knight says, old book smell is absolutely amazing. I remember used bookstores cry.
Yeah, because we haven't really been to. We actually went out and did
those two.
A Barnes and Noble.
Oh, really?
On an evening where there was literally 2 other people in the store. And I was like, it's the first time I've got to go to a bookstore in 2 years. And this is so anticlimactic. I want to go home, order something on Amazon. And it was just like, it didn't feel the same. Because we were notorious for sitting and writing in the cafe at Barnes and Noble and just going and, grabbing a coffee and go pulling a few books off the shelves and go, okay, I like that. Yeah, that's going home.
I remember I remember going into Borders and sitting in the back by the cafe and having a bagel toast with either plain or sesame bagel toast with cream tea and reading, picking off books off the shelf that I was interested in reading. I would just sit there and read. And I thought to myself, this is the good life. This is where I can get away from my family, get away from all the craziness of the world. You just dive into this book. Everything is nice and quiet for the most part. And you just dive into a book. There's nothing wrong with that. I think it's a great way to just enjoy life.
Just didn't have the same feel to it when we went. It was kind of disappointing. Different. Yeah.
It's a bit different, wasn't it?
Yeah. And we have half price books here. We have 2 locations of those. Half price is huge. If you do any road trips though, from Florida to Georgia, the first exit, there is a bookstore that they get library copies and new copies of books, and everything is $3. All hardcovers, all paperbacks, everything and anything in there is $3. We spent way too much money the first time we went.
Someone, for you who may be watching this and you're interested in books, make sure you write this information down somewhere on a sheet of paper, because this is important stuff for you to remember. Probably.
Yeah, I want to say it's like $3 Book Warehouse or something like that, but yeah, it was crazy.
What am I trying to say here?
You have to have time to dig though, because they have cubicles like floor to ceiling. They have to get a ladder out to get the ones on the top shelf. It's crazy. But so we're talking like 8-foot, bookcases, and it's not everything. There's a lot of them that are face out, and not a lot of them that are, spine only, and you have to dig because there's different books. Like I got Night Circus for 99 cents. They have other stuff in there, but nothing is over $3. It could be huge, The Stand, Stephen King or any of the really huge, ginormous books.
Almost like saying it's $3 Tree.
Yeah.
Instead of the Dollar Tree, but listen.
I love Dollar Tree. It's an actual dollar store. What's with this Dollar General? It's not a dollar store. It's increments of $1. No.
Yeah, there you go. Most likely it is. Once again, we're talking with the incredible Ana Maria Selvaggio here on And I Quote. Make sure you're sharing this video with all 1,200 of your closest friends, because they're going to like the way they look after watching this video. I guarantee it. If you got any questions for Rhea as we go throughout the course of this program, let us know in the comments. Let us know in the chat. You people have been on fire today in the chat, and I'm absolutely loving it to pieces here. Let's see. Old book smells amazing. Remember that? Yep. Otaku Hazard says, bookstores are my guilty pleasure. I don't have enough bookshelves anymore. It's funny you mentioned that, Otaku, because I have a t-shirt that says, I need space, ... for more books. Yeah. It's true.
Yeah.
I have 2 shirts, and that's one of them. The other one says, life is better when reading, because it just is. So how about this one, Rhea? The oddest job you ever took just to earn $1.
Oh, gosh. I've taken weird jobs for experience, not so much money. I was actually a roadie for 2 years for local concerts in Orlando. That was fun. And I have
Sunshine State.
I have a very, very funny story with that. Briefly, I was dropping another band off at their hotel. And it was 3:00 in the morning.
Ouch.
And there was another group of guys there that were skateboarding drunk in the lobby.
No.
Pit falling over couches and stuff. And then I noticed the hair. It was Flock of Seagulls.
Really?
Flock of Seagulls was drunk skateboarding in the Hilton.
Really?
At 3:00 in the morning.
The Flock of Seagulls?
Yes.
The ones that sang, and I ran so far away.
Yep.
Get out.
I love that song.
I love that song too.
I was just like, is that? No. Oh my gosh.
Flock of Seagulls were skateboarding in the midst of a hotel lobby?
Yes.
I don't know if anyone else has a crazy story like that. And if you do, let us know in the chat.
It was funny.
Gee whiz. What on earth is...
some pretty cool people. I got to meet Ray Charles in the airport in Atlanta.
Really?
Yeah. I didn't know what was going on. I saw security, and then I saw him go through, and I actually got to sit across from him and talk to him for a couple of minutes.
No kidding.
But he and he had this little braille thing that he signed for me. But he was sitting there reading a braille book while he was waiting for his flight. It was really cool. But yeah, he's pretty amazing. But
my goodness.
But yeah, the roadie job was probably the oddest thing. And it was funny because it started out as Christian concerts in Orlando. So Mile and the Feather and Broken Heart, Petra, Striper, Amy Grant came through at one point. David, not David Smith.
Michael W. Smith.
Michael W. Smith. Thank you. Sandy Patty. They were at one concert. So there's a few of them. Vox was really, they reminded me of Devo. I don't know why. I think it was just because of the aesthetic. There was another group there too, but it was dropping Mylon Lefevre and Broken Heart off at their hotel when I ran into the flock of seagulls, which we steer clear of. But yeah, I mean, it was interesting, and everybody, I got so much swag because I didn't ask for it. Mm-hmm. And so if you're ever a roadie, you're ever dealing with celebrities, don't ask them for stuff. Don't fangirl over them. They are normal people. They just have a better job. So, you know, I don't know if I ever want to be famous enough to have paparazzi following, because that just would drive me crazy. Never having a moment to yourself kind of thing. No. But yeah, so not really so much odd jobs for money, but definitely, you know, weird jobs for, I wonder what that's like. Let's try this.
Exactly. We'll give this a chance and see what happens, see what comes of it. We want to take this opportunity to thank Ana Maria Selvaggio. Ria, thank you so much for being on this episode.
Thanks so much for having me. This is fun.
Yeah, this is absolutely a pleasure. We're very happy that you are with us. Thank you so much for being here. Where can the person who is watching or the person who is listening to this find you online and everything you have coming up? What do you got?
Renmeleon. So if you Google Renmeleon, there are literally, it's about 10 or 11 pages of nothing but me. I've been very blessed with that. So Amazon, Renmeleon, ArtStation, Behance. If you go to renmeleon.com, there's like a bar of social stuff all the way across. I'm on Instagram, on Facebook, Pinterest. There's a link for that, but it's AM Selvaggio on Pinterest. And I have mood boards for my map classes and different things. Outschool is Renmeleon. That's where I teach K-12. So if you have K-12 kids or you're homeschooling kids or you're under 18, feel free to jump in. I do, I'm getting ready to launch podcasting, organized DM. I've got some writing stuff up there. I've got the map illustration. I got surface pattern design. If you want to make your own fabric, and pretty much just Renmeleon everywhere.
Absolutely, absolutely. Once again, congratulations on everything, Ria. We wish you the best of luck with all your new projects that are moving forward and everything you have coming down the line. It's a new year. It's 2022. New opportunities, new possibilities. Anything is possible. And as a wise man once said, a rising tide lifts all ships. Once again, my name is Ryan of my name is Ryan of Neuroculture. You can follow us on all forms of social media simply at It's Neuroculture. New videos are being posted on our YouTube channel each and every week. I host and I quote on Saturdays at 12 p.m. EST. Also, Boba's Weekly Bounty, where we talk about the latest episodes of the Book of Boba Fett. That's on Thursday nights at 8 p.m. EST on our Facebook page, on our YouTube channel. So don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe, do all that stuff. And also, our good friend Glenn B. Fleming, who is a writer, editor, publisher, he has a new book and documentary DVD coming out about one of the greatest names in the history of comics, known as Jack Kirby. Anybody? He's kind of a big fish. He's done a million different things. He has made some history. And Glenn B. Fleming, check out that new book, that new documentary. It's coming out a little bit later on this year of 2022. And once again, stay healthy, stay strong, stay safe, and life is better when reading. Take a look.
The original intention of the film was just for my personal use, but I thought, with it being such a unique thing, that I'd like to offer it to anybody who wants to see it. On the first visit, Jack took us into his another room, separate room, and there were these brown parcels full of artwork piled up, and he said to me, "You draw like I do." We were in the studio for 5 hours, you know, it was fantastic. And there's this, he's got this desk, and everything he's ever drawn has come from this desk. and then I would just go with the flow, and that's what this film is about. It's just a unique film of him.
He says, I beat you. He says, they say we came in under the dead of heat. He says, that's not true because I beat you. And the American said, well, he says, if you like to think so, he says, but I know the real story. He says, I know I clearly won that one. See? Well, Joe is 6'3", and I was a run, see, from the Lower East Side. And being Joe's partner was an advantage to me because Joe was believable, you know. They would talk to Joe, and the Goodman brothers would get to know him. Martin Goodman owned Marvel at that time. He went to his mother and he says, look, Jackie got a job drawing. He says, they're paying him for it. They're paying him money for drawing. He says, suppose I go with Jackie. He says, and he says, they'll pay me money. He says, I'll draw and they'll pay me money. He said, I'll give the money to you, which we did. We gave it all to our mothers. They called me from Nassau. You know, I lived in Long Island. And they say, would you like to come down and draw these guys in training? I swear, this is not a story. And I said, yes, of course, I'd love to come down.